Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Well, we've had another interesting day today. I had my first day back face-to-face at university. That was very interesting. I haven't been there for 18 months. It was like my first day back. I know Diamond Crystal Arts, I told him I'm dreaming, but apparently I'm going to I should do a video on my live streaming skills. I told him I was dreaming, but apparently I'm going to get sacked. So this could be my last stream. I could be sacked by the boss. Hello, BS. How are you? So I haven't kept up with much today. I've been trying to catch up on live streams. I've been heavily involved in university. First of all, my work on my major project, and then I'm doing recording as well. So I'm having to learn all about music recording, which is going to be fun. But I have caught up on a couple of news items. I've been catching up on a couple of news items. Victoria had its first community transmission since the 17th of July today, and it's out my way. It's a school. Not sure how long it'll stay. I've got a massive migraine. Oh, I'm sorry, BS. Well, I'm not sure what there'll be on the Katie Joy front, because I don't know what she's done today. A school last year in Melbourne had 170 COVID cases, and one of the cases that has just come through is one of the teachers from the school. So I am expecting we're going to have another lockdown. Just saying. I'm just saying. And WA's also on alert because they've had a positive case come through as well. So this Delta strain is causing all sorts of problems, and I still swear that our government still doesn't believe that it's as serious as what it is. However, a couple of oh, hello, Mr. Hello, anyone I've missed? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hope you feel sorry. Hello, Me More Dragon. How are you? So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Hello, Julianne. So Monday night, I don't know whether anyone kept up with the Olympics, but we did have this discussion, and we did have an interesting discussion about transgendered athletes in sport. Now, I don't know whether you paid any attention to the weightlifting, the women's weightlifting, but something very interesting happened in the weightlifting. And let's have a look at it. I actually watched it. I watched it live, and I got so caught up with Katie Joy that I forgot. So it says, Laurel Hubarrd is an extraordinarily ordinary person struggling with her place in history. So Laurel Hubarrd has had more attention and more written about her than most others here in Tokyo. She's a New Zealand weightlifter, athlete, a woman, transgender woman. This last category is attraction, and has media seats at the women's K+ women's category oversubscribed by 300%. They had over 300% of people wanting to watch this. However, this is where it gets interesting, because had failed to register a single successful lift and finished last. So, and many of them raced after her to grab a few words in the mix zone and didn't come back to see the rest of the competition. The rest of the competition was really, really amazing. The Chinese athlete, she actually broke an Olympic record. Not wanting to sound cruel, it was like a spectators at a circus, yet meeting in the notorious reclusive Hubarrd reveals that she is only extraordinary in her ordinariness. She is just a human being trying to make her way in a complex world, and is extremely uncomfortable with her place in history. 7 journalists from international agencies and publications such as the New York Times, US Today, so as the ABC, were invited to meet Hubarrd the day after she became an Olympian, although without achieving the goals she had set for herself. So, yeah, very interesting. Asked whether her retirement from sport was always her intention once her career was over, whether she was driven to it by the noise that surrounds her. So it looks like Hubarrd is going to retire now. She sat on her hands. She fidgeted with her hands, clearly wrestles on a daily basis between the gulf between the way those that don't know her view her opposed to those who know her and the way she sees herself. Really, age has caught up with me. In fact, if we are being honest, it probably caught up with me some time ago. My involvement in sport is probably due to, if nothing else, the heroic amounts of anti-inflammatories. Consequently, it's probably time for me to start thinking about hanging up the boots and concentrating on other things in my life. So it's very, very, very interesting. So it was very interesting. So she didn't register a proper lift. So all this hype and all these people that were very, very concerned, but those that left afterwards missed out on, as I said, an amazing journey. Nielsen, perhaps in the future, sports will be genderless and separated by chest. Wow, that's definitely something now that is going to be spoken about, I guess, a lot more. So, yeah, there was all this hype and a lot of people were really disappointed that the hype, didn't work out. Some instances come up to say that strong winds and tinder dry conditions caused by extreme heat are fueling blazes across Greece, with one fire near the capital forcing evacuation of thousands. So Greece has got bushfires at the moment. I know that some women, I know some women that can beat me in a number of sports. Hello, Jenna Sweet Tea. All right, so another thing. So Lifeline records the highest daily calls on record as lockdown exacerbates loneliness and hardship. So Lifeline has recorded, so Lifeline is a phone number that you ring and you talk to somebody. I don't know what you have equivalent in other countries, but Lifeline is just somebody at the other end of the phone that you ring and you can talk to. So it's recorded its busiest day, a sad outcome likely linked to Australia's current lockdowns. The support service on Monday saw 3,345 calls, which is the highest daily number in the organisation's history. Suicide Prevention Australia CEO Neves Murray said lockdowns had raised tension. So I think it's great though that people are actually ringing up to talk to somebody. I think that is positive. They're asking everybody to check in on families and friends as well. And Lifeline is a 24-hour number that you can talk to. It says help is always available no matter who you are or what situation you are in. If you are feeling distressed, please reach out. and access the various support services that are available. So Lifeline has access to support services that's needed. So I'm really happy that people are ringing, but it's really sad that people are ringing. It's a double-edged short sword, really. Also, somebody the age of 20, in their 20s died today due to COVID, which is pretty horrific. So Queensland and New South Wales, Western Australia is on high alert because they've had a positive case come through, a mind worker. Western Australia is on high alert after a fly-in, fly-out worker tested positive for COVID-19, potentially due to transmission as far back as 2 weeks ago. And Victoria's got one as well. So South Australia's also had 3 new cases. So it's not looking good at the moment. All right. I think, yeah, Mr. Obvious is in WA. I think what I'm about to talk to, and I need to put a trigger warning on it, 233 in New South Wales today, and 2 people died. So I need to put a trigger warning because we're going to talk about SA. But the biggest talking point, I think, Western Australia. Sorry, Jenna Sweet Tea. Western Australia. We have a Western Australia. We have a WA. This is probably one of the biggest talking points in politics at the moment. It says Christian Porter has been temporarily promoted. Where are our PM's morals? Now, Christian Porter is the politician who sued for defamation over allegations of R when he was a teenager. He stood down from his role as the Attorney General, but now he's been given a temporary promotion. And so it's been called an insult. There's lots of people protesting about it. And whether or not he's guilty, they're saying doesn't matter. It's the fact, it's what's right. This goes against a moral code. So this says, this week, Christian Porter has been temporarily promoted to fill the role of the acting leader of the House of Representatives. Porter's elevation comes as Peter Dutton undergoes 2 weeks of home isolation after his sons were caught up in a school outbreak in Queensland. Porter has not been subjected to an independent inquiry to assess his fitness to hold ministerial office after he was accused of R-ing a woman in 1988. Allegations he strenuously denies, has now been handed responsibility for leading the federal government's agenda as Parliament sits for a fortnight. Now, interestingly, isn't somebody in New York also got allegations to deal with? Is it Qio? I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. I was just reading it and I thought, wow. So one of the, Cumo, yeah. So it says, Christian Porter is the acting leader of the House. I have no words to describe how I feel about this. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has overseen the temporary promotion of Porter to one of the most powerful positions of authority in this country. A decision that Australian of the Year, Grace Tame, sees as in no way, shape or form accidental on the Prime Minister's part. Yes, is it Como? Como. I can't pronounce it. Is that like ScoMo? Is he related to ScoMo? Como. But yes, I was reading that he also has some allegations to deal. So Tame aired her scathing disgust at the Morrison's decision to elevate Porter in an opinion piece published by the Sydney Morning Herald today. It's transparently deliberate, definitive statement that reeks of abuse of power and a blatant disregard of the people, Tame writes. She points out just how damning it is that the government has refused to allow for an independent inquiry into Christian Porter's fitness to hold office, given the absolute seriousness of the allegations against him. I'm not party political, but I call out injustice where I see it. And in this instance, it's damn near blinding, Tame wrote. For survivors of sexual violence and for all Australians, these decisions from our nation's leadership are the highest form of insult. For the Australians who marched across the country this year at the March for Justice amid a reckoning on the treatment of women in Parliament, it is just another example of a Prime Minister and a government that refuses to listen. Just shows how deeply Morrison has misjudged the anger in the community, as well as his blatant, obvious contempt for anyone who tries to uphold minimum standards of decency. To all the women of Australia, if you're wondering how seriously the Prime Minister takes concerns of women in this country, please consider this latest exhibit, Christian Porter appointed Leader of the House in Dutton's COVID-related absence. And the reporter who Christian Porter sued wrote this: thinking of every survivor and every woman who marched for justice who is struggling with the latest news from the nation's capital. That this decency at our national leadership has been missing in action ever since former Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins came forward early this year with the allegation that she'd been R-ed by a colleague inside Parliament House in 2019. In the wake of this, Morrison similarly attempted to come to the table. In March, he delivered a speech where he admitted there was work to be done to improve the treatment of women and to ensure women's safety. He said we must get our house in order, and he was trying hard to listen to women. It is our problem here. It is our responsibility here. I'm committed to dealing with that, he said. But Morrison did not go so far to acknowledge his role in permitting a culture that silences survivors of SA and mistreats women in his own party. And therein lies the problem. Morrison continues to deflect responsibility and speaks to where his morals and that of the government he leads lie. Words mean nothing without his actions, and now include temporarily promoting Christian Porter shows us what he really thinks. Now, interestingly, somebody pointed out that Christian Porter is going to have to pay, looks like he's going to have to pay $500,000 towards legal fees. Guess how much his pay rise is for the next 2 weeks, by the way? Guess how much his pay rise is for the next 2 weeks? It's the exact amount of, they're saying that it's enough to cover his legal fees. Yeah, it is. That's what I was reading. Yeah, enough to cover it. So apparently Biden has said, I wish I wasn't obvious. I wish I could say I was joking, but apparently he's getting a pay rise. He should be able to pay his legal fees. So Joe Biden says New York Governor Andrew Cuomo should resign after probe finds he sexually harassed multiple women. So he's going to have to resign. Hey, if he was in Australia, he'd get a promotion. Sounds like Australia is doing US things. Yes, but we promote them, Jenna. US President Joe Biden says New York Governor Andrew Cuomo should resign in light of the findings of an investigation into sexual harassment allegations. The investigation found Mr. Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women inside and outside the state government and worked to retaliate against one of his accusers, New York's Attorney General announced. I think he should resign, Mr. Biden. I think he should resign, Mr. Biden, a fellow Democrat told reporters on Tuesday. But isn't he it's funny how they said fellow Democrat. He's the president, right? The nearly 5-month investigation conducted by 2 outside lawyers who spoke to 179 people found that the Cuomo administration was a hostile work environment that was rife with fear and intimidation. In pre-recorded remarks, Mr. Cumo denied all of the accusations against him and the findings of the investigations. I want you to know directly from me that I've never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances, he said. He's served as governor since 2011. I am 63 years old. I've lived my entire life in public life. This is not who I am, and that's not who I have ever been. People interviewed for investigation included complainants, current and former members of the executive chamber, state troopers, additional state employees, and others who interacted regularly with the governor. These interviews and pieces of evidence revealed a deeply disturbing yet clear picture. Governor Cumo sexually harassed current and former state employees in the violation of federal and state laws. New York Attorney General Letitia James said at a press conference on Tuesday. Ms. James said her investigation had concluded. There were no referrals to criminal prosecutors, though that wouldn't preclude local authorities from using the evidence and findings of the report to mount their own cases. On one occasion, the investigation found Mr. Cumo and his senior staff worked to retaliate against a former employee who accused him of wrongdoing. The investigation also found that he may have harassed people outside of the government. So the report also detailed for the first time allegations that he sexually harassed a female state trooper on his security detail. It is alleged the governor ran his finger or hand across her stomach and her back, kissed her on the cheek, and asked her for help in finding a girlfriend and asked why she didn't wear a dress. These brave women stepped forward to speak the truth to power, and in doing so, they expressed faith in the belief that although the governor may be powerful, the truth is even more so. June Kim, one of the lawyers leading the investigation, said at a press conference. Investigators said they found all 11 women were credible, noting that their allegations were corroborated to varying degrees, including by witnesses and contemporaneous text messages. Mr. Cumo had earlier faced multiple allegations that he'd inappropriately touched and sexually harassed women who worked with him or he'd met at public events. One aide in his office alleged that he groped her breast. Another, Lindsay Boylan, said that Mr. Cumo kissed her on the lips after a meeting in his office and would go his way to touch me on my lower back, legs and arms. After Ms. Boylan made her first allegation public in December, the Cumo administration undercut her story by releasing personal memos to media outlets revealing that Ms. Boylan resigned after she was confronted about complaints she belittled and yelled at her staff. Ms. Boylan said the records were leaked to the media in an effort to smear her. Other aides have said Mr. Cumo asked some unwelcomed personal questions about the birds and the bees and dating. I've got to try and keep some part of it monetized. One former aide, please put US in the. One former aide, Charlotte Bennett, said Mr. Cumo asked if she was open to horizontal dancing with an older man. Some suffered through unwanted touching, grabbing for their most intimate body parts. Others suffered through repeated offensive, sexually suggestive or gender-based comments. A number of them endured both. None of them wanted it, welcomed it, and all of them found it disturbing, humiliating, and uncomfortable. And inappropriate. Last winter, there was a chorus of calls for Mr. Cumo's resignation from many top elected Democrats in New York, including 2 US senators, Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand, but Mr. Cumo refused to quit and has been raising money for a 4th term in office. Mr. Cumo has denied touching anyone inappropriately, but he initially said he was sorry if his behaviour with women was misinterpreted as unwanted flirtation. In recent months, he's taken more of a combative tack, saying he did nothing wrong and questioning the motives of the accusers and the critics. So Biden has actually said that he should resign. So that's interesting. Yeah. So unfortunately, it seems to be something that seems to come with politicians. Hello, Short Order. How are you? So as I said, if he was in Australia, he'd be given a promotion. We're just talking about Christian Porter being made temporary leader of the House. He'd be the House Secretary in the UK. I saw a picture of the House Secretary the other day, Laura. He was apparently he was moving a car seat. Apparently he's been kicked out of his home and he has to find. Not wrong about. Oh yeah, it's very disheartening. As Grace Tame said, it's a kick in the guts, really, for women. It really is. And we know that nothing's been done about the Brittany Higgins stuff. That's still being sat on. So he should be the house cleaner. He should be. Well, if you think that's bad, this is actually very, very embarrassing. I'm actually very embarrassed because this is our Deputy Prime Minister. So it says, what time is happy hour in Canberra? Speaker, we might as well leave your answer there. Laughter. You watch this. This is embarrassing. So this is question time. He's just been asked the question. You reckon Porter's not fit to hold office? You watch this one. Watch this.
I like going to the movies, and I can't but always remember Howard Hughes, the aviator. But Howard Hughes, the aviator, but the Labor Party got Albo the advocator. The great advocator, the great ideas man, straight from the pool room.
The Deputy Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm forced to bring out the on-weirdness. The on-weirdness. I have no idea what this is.
Leader of the Opposition will resume his seat. That is not a point of order. The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Much no should continue on. The great advocator, there he is, because we are never going to get anything constructed by him. But he did have one great idea. We saw it the other day. $300 per jab. I think that was just your idea.
No, the Deputy Prime Minister needs to resume his seat, and I think we might as well leave it there. Whilst he was asked about alternative policies, they need to be alternatives to the issues laid out in the question.
So there you go. That is our Deputy Prime Minister. And there is a lot of people thinking that he was drunk. I think there is I think there can be selective outrage, but I do think that victims do also have a right to be heard. But yes, that's our Deputy Prime Minister. Short Order Cook says, what a drongo. Yes, what a drongo. He's the Deputy Prime Minister, and he sounds like he's drunk. Sounds like he's drunk. That's right. The Deputy Prime Minister who had issues with same-sex marriage due to religious reasons while he was committing adultery at the same time. That's right. Like someone, like if you look at the comments to this, people have been very scathing. So, Australian farmers must be so proud of this embarrassment. Imagine showing up to any other workplace in that condition. That's the Deputy Prime Minister of this country. We need a breathalyzer at the chamber door, and it needs to be compulsory to blow under 0.05 to enter. Being drunk at work is a sackable offence in every job I've ever had. How is it allowed that the Deputy Prime Minister can turn up in that condition? Barnaby is crying in his soup that he got a fantastic pay rise so he can support his second family and pay all that maintenance to his first family. Mr. Speaker, I'm forced to bring out the on weirdness. If he's not drunk, he needs to be. What on earth is going on in the House, Mr. Speaker? How can you possibly think drunkenness is acceptable, Mr. Speaker? Why did you not boot him out? The Speaker says we can leave it just right there. In my opinion, it appears to me that someone is intoxicated and being protected by the Speaker. The Treasurer must be proud that taxpayers' money is being used to fund this. How about an indue card and mutual obligations for the politicians? I mean, I do agree, Graham. I mean, Paul Keating was the greatest of them all. Then they're saying he should be stood down. I'll never judge an alcoholic, but I'll express great concern and sadness as a taxpayer if he is indeed drunk in Parliament. If that's not on, he needs to step aside and get immediate help. Are you allowed to be in Parliament drunk? Well, but if politicians learnt how to keep their hands to say. It'd be really good. Hopefully we've got an election coming up soon, so I'm hoping then that we can they are offensive. It really is offensive in an IQ test and a breath test for all politicians. Well, I don't know that they'd pass in. Not to mention corrupt. Well, a lot of workers have to be. I mean, one of the things that we actually, one of the things that you fill in, even if, like, I applied for a job via, online today, just for a supermarket job, and one of the things says, you part of, do you have any objections to being breath tested or drug tested at all? I mean, I don't, because I don't drink. But why is it that our politicians seem to be able to drink? I don't understand it. I just don't understand how they can be. And that's not the first time we've had national politicians drunk. We had that woman, remember, in the Senate, where she was escorted across and they sent her home. I know that they have functions, but see, you can't. Hello, totally clueless. Oops. Yeah, see, I don't agree I don't think there should be a bar for MPs at Parliament. I don't think so. where is where are the bars for everybody else at work? Nobody else gets bars at work. Yeah, there's a bar in Parliament. This is what the problem is. And I think the worst thing is that they actually make but am I not making sense? No, you're making more sense. The thing that I object to is that they're making decisions for the country, or they're supposed to be making decisions for the country. How can you make decisions when you don't even know what day it is? I wonder whether he knew what he was doing. You know, that just annoys me. And that's the thing, taxpayers are paying for it, yet we have to fight tooth and nail to get anything. They've had to, I just read that Indonesia's just hit 100,000 deaths, by the way, due to COVID. This Delta strain is, I bet the cabinet is full of hard liquor. So it's really, really worrying. How are you going, Cal? We've just been talking about Barney Joyce looking like he was drunk in Parliament and Christian Porter being made leader of the House for a while, for a couple of weeks. So how much would it save if politicians had to pay for their own? Probably lots of money. Do you know, if we actually took out all the beer, made them walk, we would actually save so much money. We could actually probably solve the housing. We could probably solve the housing shortage we have in this country. So much to discuss from today. Well, yeah, we're just talking about Australian, and we've talked about the New York governor also being accused of sexual harassment. Your local MP doesn't drink for religious. Well, see, I don't drink for religious reasons either. So, and that's fine, but I don't see how, you know, drinking and getting yourself in that state. I mean, he's also got to remember he's got little kids. Yeah, Alan Trudge got questioned over the car park rules as well. Really? The only person that doesn't use the public transport is the Prime Minister? See, I'd be quite happy with that. I don't see why. I mean, imagine how life would be different if they actually had to rough it like the rest of us. Imagine how quickly our public transport systems would be fixed if they had to rough it like the rest of us. Slum it. Was caused by Congress going on the biggest bender and proclaiming no one should ever be that drunk. Yeah, that. Yeah, well, Jenna, that's a really good point. Usually bars are not allowed if it's my husband's, and he can't even socialize with people he works with unless it's in his. Yeah, well, and the other thing is, so even school teachers, they used to be able to. They're not allowed to have alcohol. Well, in this state, they're not allowed to have alcohol on the premises at all, even for after dinner. If they want to go somewhere and have a drink, they actually have to go away from the school. They're not allowed to drink on the school. So, oh, that's why, short order cook, you got to vote for me. The politicians wouldn't like it, but I would. Oh, dear me. Oh, wow. Did he? They used to be able to have a smoke in the car. Yeah, but now they can't even, that there is a designated smoking area off the school grounds as well. They actually have to, there's actually a, yes, see, I don't know. I haven't actually found out what she's been up to today, to be honest with you, the anti-KJ party. Sorry, that's my political party, the anti-KJ party. Sorry, I just got it. I got it. Well, they drink during their lunch breaks as well. Joe, where do you sign? Do I have to make shirts? Pauline Hanson just voted against the car park routes bill, so that's not gone through the Senate, so that won't be investigated. That's going to be swept under the carpet. Government are not allowed to have alcohol in their workplace. Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's my point. If public servants aren't allowed to drink on the job, and don't forget, these politicians are paid by us, and they're paid by us, and we should be able to have some accountability. And is it too much to expect them not to drink during the day? If you get the shirts, oh, sorry, robes, that's right. New South Wales election could not come sooner. Yes, wow. Actually, I saw something Helen Dalton wrote again. She's been interviewed tomorrow by Marcus, what's his, about Braz and his call for the country to owe the city. Oh, Pauline Hanson. Yeah, Pauline Hanson voted with the government opposed the car park routes investigation. So Helen Dalton's going after the New South Wales government. So she says, silence is deafening from government since the ACCC recommended law changes to fix our broken water markets. Meanwhile, more water barons and more street traders make a killing at the expense of farmers and communities. Important interview. I don't see why there should be a reason. Oh, hello, one lone voice. Yeah, so the cashless debit card, yeah, I don't like it because that takes 80% of their government income and puts it on a card that isn't always going to be accepted places. And this is what I'm not understanding about a lot of the government ministers actually state that they're Christian, and this is where I question it. I don't like to question people's belief systems, but I find it really hard that Christians wouldn't have a social conscience. That's all I'm saying. Oh, wow. Just going on to Friendly Geordie's Twitter. Sweden's picked up the story. Look, I'm saying I have no doubt they have. I have no doubt politicians have a very stressful job. I'm not taking that away, but they get an awful lot of money for that. I don't understand why anyone wouldn't have it. I don't understand why either, Princess Jax, but our current government just has no respect for people who are struggling. And that's my problem. They cut everything out of. Here's my latest. Here's my rant. I should just call this my rant. My rant. You're going to get a rant, so I apologize. So here's the problem that I have. We have New South Wales in lockdown. We've had Victoria in lockdown. We've had South Australia in lockdown. We've got Queensland in lockdown. So businesses are struggling. So everyone's saying reinstate JobKeeper, and they're saying we can't do that. But they give $7 million to Qantas to pay each staff member $750 a week for the next 6 months to keep them in their jobs. The day after the government announces the money, Qantas stands down half of their workforce. This is what they did with JobKeeper too. JobKeeper, they got rid of their baggage handlers. They didn't care about the baggage handlers. They were getting money. They've told their staff that they've just stood down that they're going to have to get the COVID payments from the government. But the government has already given them. The government's already given Qantas money to keep these people employed. Oh, no, but we can't afford to do it. Oh. So that's what riles me up. That is a waste of money. Why give the money to the big multinational companies who are going to send it offshore rather than give it to the people that need it, who will spend it in their local businesses, who will keep jobs going? When there was the world financial crisis, everyone called it ruddy money. Kevin Rudd got a lot of criticism because he gave everybody $750. But you know what? We were the only country that didn't suffer the financial global crisis. Why? Because people were given money to put back into the economy. This is how you get the economy going. You give it to the people who are going to spend it in the local communities. You give me the money, I go to my local shop. I'm supporting my local shop. I'm keeping them in a job. But see, people like Qantas, they send it offshore. People like Mr. Harvey Norman, he sends it offshore. Doesn't pay tax on it. Give it to the people and they will make sure the economy keeps ticking over. It makes so much sense. And don't worry about giving JobKeeper 2.0 to the businesses. Give it to the staff. If they've got to register, if everyone's got to register through Centrelink to get it. Keep the businesses out of it. It eliminates the corruption. And eliminates the corruption. The people can spend with it whatever they like. They might put it into their They may put it into their house. They may actually pay a bill for it, but they might actually go and buy something nice for it. They might go and say, you know what? I've been living in the same clothes for the last year. I might go and buy myself a new outfit. That's giving somebody a job in their local community. So anyway, I think it's time for me to get off my soapbox now. I'll get off my soapbox now. Oh, but no, we will just give it to all the big businesses who are going to go and get it. Why do I have a music? I don't know why you have a music note now. So I apologize for my rant. But that is how Australia kept ticking through the global financial crisis, because everybody, the money went to the people. So anyway, like, I was really surprised. So there is this Olympian who rant on. Oh, thank you, Shaw Cook. So there was this female Olympian. She's in the 800 meters final. She works for a big multinational company, a supermarket chain. They wouldn't sponsor her, right? She couldn't get sponsorship. She went to Tokyo with no sponsorship. She's got herself in the final. Now they want to sponsor her. Funny that, eh? Like, who do you think you are? You didn't want to know me when I was nobody. Go jump. Yes, that's the thing. Kevin Rudd was actually, well, it's like Dan Andrews too. People all over the world look at how he handled the pandemic, how he's handled it. And yet in Australia, people don't like him. The Prime Minister can't even spit out his name. Gladys can't even say anything nice about him. Gee, she didn't even take notes. And it was acknowledged. The Prime Minister actually, no, I don't, Will. The Prime Minister actually acknowledged in Parliament today that going hard and fast was the only way to deal with the Delta virus. Hello. Anyway, let's keep going. I'll get off my rant now. But that's my rant. The other, well, before we go, one more thing. When Qantas sacked all their baggage handlers, Qantas was taken to the Fair Work, was taken to court. The court deemed that it was unlawful to do what Qantas did. So they have broken the law and the government rewards them with more money. Make that make sense. Yes, you better watch out. She might sue him next day. I don't know, I don't know if he has been watching, but I'm happy to be a Morrison advisor, because I've got a few things. I've got a few words to say to him, actually. All right. So this one says, this is Auto Expert. It says, this entire fiasco is Orwellian. I'm a humble automotive YouTuber with 300,000 subscribers, and yet my video on the Friendly Geordie's arrest got 100,000 views. Keep up the good work pursuing this. Those Keystone cops were either incompetent or incompetent. So he's got 100,000 views on his. Anyway, it says, a Swiss perspective on the Friendly Geordie's arrest. Australia, police doing the political dirty work. In Australia, politicians use anti-terror law to muzzle critics. So we're going to actually have a look at this. You'd be better than what he has got now. Oh, look, he doesn't even have to pay me as much either, to be honest with you. I'm really... So this is a Swiss perspective. So this says, In Australia, politicians use anti-terror laws to muzzle critics, and Australian comedians currently experiencing firsthand how the anti-terror law can also be used. New South Wales CCL Treasurer Stephen Blanks told the SRF, "We have a legal system which is weak on practicing legal rights and particularly weak on protecting freedom of speech." So that's the article. Yeah, I'm not mates with him. Okay, we're going to go for English. Oh, it's a listen. I'm not going to understand it. But anyway, this is an overseas newspaper, so which is good. I think, more people need to talk about it. Yeah, I have to spend more time, but now I'm actually back at university. I am, and I've got to do I have to do 2 music portfolios, one encompassing 3 years of work, which they've only told us about this year. They only told us this year. Oh, by the way, we hope you kept everything that you've done over the last 2.5 years, because you now need to put it into a portfolio. So, but if I know anything about the Prime Minister, in a week or so, he will come up with an idea to pay people for vaccinations. Don't you worry about that. In 20 minutes, in case anyone's interested, how do you make I don't know how you make a plant bigger. So this is Peter Bol, I don't know. He came from a refugee camp. You got a new keyboard, cool. He came from a refugee camp and in Australia. Or a musical one. Ooh. And tonight he's going to be the first Australian in the 800 meters finals at the Olympics. So from using refugee camps as a kid to 800 meters Olympic final after his semi-final. So he came as his family came as a 9-year-old. And, he's he wasn't sure he was good at anything. And one of the teachers at school saw him running and they said, "Oh, he can run." So it's a pretty, it's one of those really good stories. I did notice that Katie Joy was on the Simone Biles train again today. But she seemed to be about a day behind in all her news, though. I hope I would love him to place first. I think it would be a really good story. So here's the story. Sorry to all you Americans, but I hope he beats you all. So tonight, in case you haven't wondered, we're doing snippets of everything because I didn't get home till 3:45, and I had a student at 4:00. So he's a favourite for a medal. So it'll be a comedy that began in Sudan. At the age of 4, his family escaped civil war. After arriving in Egypt in 1998, his family would wait for another 4 years before emigrating to Australia. His first experience of Australia was stepping off a plane in Toowoomba, Queensland. He was 8 and remembers it vividly. It was it was just so nice. Even the air was fresh, and it was just a feeling, pretty much the same feeling if you just made it to the Olympics, a feeling of excitement. He told them before an interview to the Rio Games. He was a boy in Rio, pinching himself at being at the Olympics. In Tokyo, he now has the strut, swagger, and expectation when he runs. He's not worried about other athletes. He reckons they should be worried about him. His coach said Bolt was physically the same athlete as in Rio and in 2017 and 2019 when he represented Australia. But mentally, he's much better placed. He believes he belongs now. He's not in the awe of other guys. He's charismatic and confident. He harnesses his family on his support and social media to drive him. When other athletes want time away from the spotlight ahead of their events, he revels in it. Ahead of his 800-meter rival, Jeffrey Risley said he was going to take some time off Instagram. I was thinking to myself, I better get off Instagram, Bolt said on Sunday night after his semi-final win. And I'm like, wait, I'm not like that. I've got to keep the same thing I keep doing. I love creating noise, love the hype, and I tend to do very well. Not believe in staying humble. I do perfectly fine. Yes, I saw a video on that too. So his path to Tokyo opened up partly by chance. His St. Norbert's teacher, Helen Lee, told 6PR in Perth on Monday that she picked him for her athletic squad because she was short of a 400-meter runner. It's difficult to fill races, and I didn't have anyone to run the 400 meters. One of the other students suggested Bolt could do it. He brought him back to me and said, Peter, can you run the 400 meters? And he said, how far is that? And I said, it's once around the track. He said, yes, miss, I can run. He blitzed it by 100 meters. It was beautiful to watch. And he said he fell in love with winning, basically. So, anyway, so this is him. So he's going to be running. So he moved from Perth to Melbourne. He broke the 800-meter national record 3 years ago. He did it again on Sunday in Tokyo to win his heat. And then he also broke the record again in his semi-final. He's the last Australian man to make the 800 meters at the Olympics was Ralph Dubell in 1968. He set a new world record, which has become a long-standing national record and won gold. So there's a lot. I mean, this guy, 10 o'clock, it's on in 15 minutes. So he's becoming the first Australian 800-meter finalist in more than half a century. Mama's house on a Sunday night, he wrote energy. So if he wins, it's going to be big. But his story is like he's a winner anyway. So yeah, I saw you interviewing Michael Long, and the interviewer mentioned without a crystal ball made a big problem for them releasing sealed docs and med info. Look, I've heard that. You want me to do a commentary? I don't even know who they are. Michael Long went on 3 channels today. I believe he went on a Father Advocates page. He went on and did an interview with the Glairer, and he did one with Rakita Law. And interestingly enough, Rakita Law lives in Minnesota, believe it or not. About half an hour away from Katie Joy. So, now she has allegedly, and I've only been catching up with bits and pieces, but she has allegedly tried to strike the channels for because she's saying that they've had a crook on, a fugitive. They've been interviewing a fugitive or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know how that's come about. Please do commentary. All right. I've got to find it first. But it's on the main 7. All right, I'll see what I can do. I don't know. I might get struck for it, but hey, maybe I just play it. This is more, I tell you what, this is historic, and I'll do it. I'll share my screen. The women are running at the moment. So when it comes time, I'll put it on. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. This is a once in an amazing time. Well, See, this is what I don't understand. So what? Someone got a homemade birthday cake. Guess what? Most of my childhood, we had homemade birthday cakes. Quite a disturbing video of a child. Really? Of the child? Oh, is that Sophie? Yeah. I just find she seems to be grasping at straws at the moment, unfortunately. She seems to be really, really struggling for content, where most people that I know have sort of done a slight shift. Oh. Like, why? I mean, so what? They didn't have a professional cake. So what? Oh, the 800-meter finals. They're just lining up now.
Clayton Murphy playing with the cameras.
Can you hear that?
How much excitement there would be in the United States if he was to make it an 800 meters double.
Uh-oh. Apparently the Americans are favorite. Uh-oh. Oh, no, we can't have the American win. Well, I remember one year I wanted a piano cake and my mum handmade me a piano cake. So what? Hey, that'll be funny. That will be funny if she does that. Okay, they're just warming up. Once it starts, I'll do it. Well, yes, taking back cupcakes to school. Then she also said that her last video was that Anna's chosen Josh over the kids or something. Oh, it's like, where is this stuff coming from? Oh, your grandma's cakes were the best? Yeah. There's nothing, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with having homemade cake. But I made a Humphrey Bee pear cake for my school. Wow, that's pretty cool. Stuck in there. They were stuck in the cupcake papers. Well, there was a trend there where you didn't actually do cakes. You did cupcakes and you put them in the shape of something. If you instead of doing a round cake, you did a circle of cupcakes. I made all my kids' cakes still would, but apparently beer cake. But nobody should be. But why should people be shamed for making cakes? Why is that? This is what's wrong with the world. We just shame everybody. Why can't we just go, isn't that great that they made a cake? And let's face it, a homemade cake's a lot cheaper. Oh, yes, and huge cookie cakes. Yes, that's right. Don't you do fairy cakes? Not all the time. It depends. Oops. We always had my cousin make cakes for our kids. Now she's not here. My daughter does actually buy them, but from someone she knows. I can make a lovely cake, but I'm rubbish at decoration. They've got the women's steeple. They've just done the women's steeplechase. So for those of you that didn't catch up, Katie Joy did a video on the Duggars today to say that they had no money because they had to make their own cake. And some of the cakes are expensive. Why would you spend $60, $70 on a cake when you can put that into a present? We just use a round double layer and write happy birthday. So Well, we know that KJ obviously doesn't make cakes for her son. Kids' parties always have fairy bread. Yes, they have fairy bread. They always make their own cakes, so spend money like that. Well, I thought they would have made their own cakes because of the fact that otherwise you'd be having to buy 20 of them or however many kids there were. Oh, wow. The medalists actually have to put their own medals on. And then, so I think there was a few videos. What was the other one? One was one a Sister Wife video, I think. Somebody I saw had taken a screenshot of them, and I think they'd only done about 20,000 views each. So the views aren't great. Even the Anna and Josh one didn't do very well. Only had about 25,000. Oh, fairy bread. Oh. And I was watching a whole pile of streams today and of different creators, and I can't understand all the stuff that's going on between people, the fighting and the bickering, and I don't know. I'm trying to work it all out, but I think again I'm going to stay in my lane, and I'm happy. I actually watch most of them, and I think I'll just keep doing that. Are they not a fan of KJ? Well, that's right. She's done Douglas for so long. Where hello cheap glass, where a lot of us were able to have sort of done other things. So what we're an hour into our stream and we're talking about we started talking about Katie Joy. We've talked about politics. You've heard her rant. You've heard me rant. You don't think the arguing will stop? Well, unfortunately, drama sells, and we've seen that with Katie Joy. The more chaotic her life is, the more carry on she does, the more, the more views she gets. So that's all I'll say on it. Drama, it's all about. Look at Unirock. He just reports on all the drama. So there's that's a women's 3,000 meter steeplechase award ceremony at the moment. The American got second in the steeplechase. Well, Uni is part of his own drama as well. But the other thing I'll say is if he actually focused his attention on things of substance, because he's got music, he's got great effects. I mean, people seem to be fascinated with Busy. Oh, really? Wow. No, I didn't see that. So if you put it into something decent, he could have a fairly good channel. Says she that if she put some effort in, could actually also have a very good channel. But I'm just quite happy the way I am. I'm happy. Oh, I got a copyright strike. Yeah, I know the Olympics is copyrighted. That's all right. It's only going to go for 30 seconds. Anyway, I'll play a little bit of it for you. Uganda, US, and what was the other one? With a in the steeplechase. And really, I mean, so could Katie Joy, really. I mean, her editing's horrible, in my opinion. She can get people to watch if she could just focus. He's going to try it with the video game lawyer defending him. Oh, wow. You know, if she if she knuckled down, she could get away from the druggers. But, you know, at some point in time, so there was a conversation that I saw on Facebook, and where somebody asked her to do a live stream on the Sophie Long, Michael Long issue, and she said she would have to think about it. And she said it wasn't something that was popular on her channel. For her, it's what money she can make. But, you know, if you're really passionate and you were an advocate and you were really concerned, you would do a stream. Yeah, well, we're not there yet. She would do a stream about it. You know, what you do on YouTube, in my opinion, shouldn't be focused on how many people are going to watch it or how much money you're going to make from that video. If it's something like, for example, calling out the government for being corrupt, for example, that's not going to get you any views as such. And it may get struck by YouTube, but the message is important. Yes. Well, I think she's upset because he didn't go to her. She's complaining about him talking to all these channels. But what if he'd approached her? What if he'd gone to her? That's what I'd like to know. What if what if he'd said to her, "Oh, I want you to interview me"? She wouldn't be complaining then, would she? But if she streams on another channel, she can still use a filter. Can she still use a filter? She can only use this filter on Instagram. It has to be on Instagram. All right, the 800-meter final lists are coming out.
It's an iconic distance, a fabulous test of nerve, of speed, of tactics, and speed endurance. And what's marvellous about this race, I have absolutely no idea who's going to win.
That's a good one. I don't know whose commentary they're taking. And that's the thing, Will, is as long as it's like she complained about somebody posting one of her blogs on Twitter, and it was a blog, and the blog had a picture of her and her son, and she complained that the person had yeah, I'll go back to it in a minute. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, somebody had posted a picture on Twitter of her and her son, which was one of her blog posts, and she complained about the fact that people were using pictures of her and her son without permission. But she put it on a post of one of her Pathos articles. The person shared the article, and the picture was there. You can't complain if you've put the picture into the social virtual World Wide Web. You can't complain that the picture's there because you did it. She cares more about views, money, and she likes hearing her voice and being relevant. If she did her channel, she really enjoyed it. She could talk. Well, that's right. You should be able to talk whatever you like. She is. Okay. Oh wow, a minute 40, 140, 91. Oh, you've got the 800-meter race on? Well, that's right, Jenna Sweet Tea. But what I'm saying is she's trying to strike channels for this at the moment. But my point is, if Michael Long had gone to her, she would have displayed it. There's no way. She would have interviewed him. But as I said, Rakita Law, he's about half an hour away from her, I believe. So I did watch some of the interview. I didn't understand it all, but because Michael Long was talking about how we're all gods, which I thought, what are you talking about, mate? But he did talk about having legal paperwork, and he said he was gonna send it to Rakita Law, and Rakita Law was going to look over it for him. So I think when you say, if he sends the stuff to Rakita Law, he's a lawyer, so I think he's going to go through the documents and form an opinion on what's happening. But again, I also know that it's one side the story. Oh, thank you, Kristen. I know it's only one side the story, but none of that has really matched what I've heard. And remember, we've heard the other side the story as well. So somewhere in the middle is the truth. And I tried to watch all 7 hours, but couldn't stay awake, yeah. And Chris Chan's arrest was on Sunday and the allegations came out. Yeah, so look, he does have a sharp legal mind, and he was pretty on the money as far as the Tardy without a crystal ball lawsuit was. He did think it was a joke. But he would be a great, if to have him in your corner wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing for Michael Long. And I looked at Rakita Law's subs. He's got 168,000 subs. He's not far behind Katie Joy. So I know the race is about to start. They're just introducing everybody now. He was hilarious on this. Oh, really? Yeah. So, and the reason why he was talking about tardies was because he'd been from Minnesota. He understood the Minnesota laws. And I must be behind because they haven't even started the race here. It doesn't surprise me. Australian media, we're behind. Tell me who wins, Laura. And it's also, I got to know. Yeah, the stream is called Am I Being Entertained? Okay, cool. I'm totally time traveling. Oh, wait, no, there we go. The race. I've just clicked on it. Yeah. Oh, he's coming to the front. Come on. First lap is first. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I keep pausing. Aussie internet. I know, it sucks. He's leading. Oh. Go, Aussie, go. Oh.
They take a bell in the final of the men's 800 metres. Peter Ball, whose family moved from Sudan to Australia for a better life, for a new life. And he strikes out now, aiming for a proud nation. But he's got some fabulous runners tracking his every move. Emmanuel Correa, the 400-metre specialist behind him. Patrick Dobeck in third. Watch for Amos, although he's just beginning to go backwards now.
Oh, come on, Peter. Peter.
Trying to come into the mix for Spain. Clayton Murphy.
Come on, Peter.
On the outside. This is tight. The lactic acid is pouring in these men.
Oh, no.
Hoping to pull away. But watch Dobeck. And it's going to be a Kenyan 1
Oh well. He as I said, he was the first Aussies for 50 years to make it into the final. He's a winner as far as I'm concerned. So I know he got fourth. Oh dear. So there you go. The Kenyans are kissing the ground. They're happy. Oh, Poland. The money cake was only for my birthday dinner. If I had a birthday party, it was cake without money. Cool. Steeplechase is where they run around and they have a hurdle. Yeah, I know. He went slightly early. So there's a hurdle with water behind it, and that's a steeplechase. I'll turn off the Olympics now. We've watched it. We've watched it. Oh dear. All right, I'm gonna finish early tonight. I think I've had a big day. We went a long time last night. Did anybody? Funny how family traditions went. So how did everyone go with the end of the stream yesterday? I always thought if you kissed a toad, you'd get a handsome prince. Or is that a frog? Or does it only work on frogs? Hello, the kiss. They sealed it with a kiss. The thing was, I think the funniest thing about that was she instigated it, and he was just absolutely shocked. Hello, Kim. And he was just absolutely shocked that he's going, what? She's trying to kiss me? What? It was a bit like that. Come on. Oh, I don't want to do that clip again. I know Cactus Bill will be on 45 minutes. Yeah. So, yeah, it wasn't pretty. I noticed on her Katie Joy, on her Without a Crystal Ball official page, she's stuck mainly to YouTube upload content. Yeah. Yeah, Crystal Bill will be on soon. So, yeah, I try to finish. I timestamped it. Oh, yes, you did too. I wonder what the timestamp was, Laura. Just in case anyone's interested. I wonder what the timestamp was about. Just in case anyone's interested. What, you want to see the kiss again? No. Oh, and YouTube's made a few changes today. They've changed the whole way that the studio's set up. So I've come to do the studio. And also, I need to thank you all because I hit 2.101 today. The thing is, Laura, I went, oh, there's a timestamp there. I wonder what that's for. And I nearly did it. I saw it and I went, oh, I bet you it's something I'm going to regret. So I didn't actually click on it. Just as well I didn't. In a couple of weeks, I've got to do a presentation. Maybe I make that as part of my presentation. And I'll say, whoops, sorry. So I'm just adding the timestamps at the moment so you can go back and watch the parts that you've missed if you're interested. So we've talked about Laurel Hubarrd, the transgender weightlifter. We've talked about some fires in Greece. We've talked about the effects of lockdown. We've talked about Christian Porter being leader of the House, even though he's got, getting a promotion, even though he's never had the allegations sorted out and hanging over his head. And there's been lots of people speaking out against that because they believe that it's offensive. We've talked about Governor Cumo, how the president's called for him to resign. We've talked about the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia, who looked like he was drunk in Parliament today. I then went on a rant. We briefly looked at Friendly Geordies. We then talked about Peter Bowl, and then we talked about Katie Joy, and then we're nearing our end. So we've covered a lot of topics. We've discovered that our politicians are all the same. They have the same issues in every country. They can't keep their hands to themselves and their pants up, apparently, allegedly. Allegedly. And we've also talked about birthday cakes. So that's what we've talked about tonight. So as I said, I'm just finishing this off. So I will be back tomorrow. I've got some assignments to start tomorrow, but that's okay. I'll keep an eye on things, and then Friday I'm working. So yeah, so now that university's back, it's gonna, I'm not gonna keep on top of everything that's happened, but I will come with a few things to talk about. But feel free to yell stuff out, comment and stuff. I know that I'd sort of seen what way too available is way too available. What? So anyway, and I apologize for my spelling because I'm just trying to read my writing here. And all going well, I'll have some more music demos for you in the next couple of days as well, because that's part of what I've got to do. I've got to do some demos. So that's my job over the weekend, to do some demos, get some videos up there. Oh, you're desperate and dateless. Join the club, Miss Obvious. Join the club. So anyway, so thank you all for joining me, and I will catch you again, and we'll see what happens. And thank you for all your support, because it's really appreciated. I saw that hit 2.10, I sort of had a few tears in my eyes. I get very emotional at these things because, I've had so many people tell me I can't do certain things in my life, and it feels really good when you can actually do something and show that there is a little bit of success there. So there's even people now that are saying to me, why do you do YouTube every night? It's not worth anything, and you're wasting your time. And I'm going, really? Did you know that I've got this many people? And so it's really good to be able to do that. So thank you. And as I said, I appreciate you all. I've already had I'll just show you. This is what everybody complains about. I don't care. Seriously. So when this is your monetization. If it's green, it means you're going to get all your money. When it's yellow, it means that it says it's running unlimited or no ads. And this is what they all complain about. So it says, this video is running limited or no ads due to content identified as not suitable for most advertisers. It remains fully playable and is eligible to earn subscription revenue from YouTube Premium. So all I get is money, is the YouTube Premium amounts, because it's oh, thank you, Babs. You didn't need to do that. Thank you, Babs. Very much appreciated. So yeah, so Orange, this is what they all complain about when they say it's not monetized. It's this one. And green it's monetized. The rant that I did was very important, and I really don't care. I knew, like, I don't sit and I discuss those topics that nobody else will touch. Of course, it's not going to get monetized. You know, so it's fine. I would much rather my message get out there than it be monetized. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, thank you, Babs. It's very, as I say, it's very appreciated. So, anyway, so that is all for tonight. So thank you very much. I'll catch you tomorrow night. I'll be around on Friday night because my son only does youth group every second week. So I'll be on tomorrow night. I'll be on Friday night. I'll be on Saturday night. Be on Sunday night. Monday nights. Next week, I won't be on Mondays or Friday. So I try to give you as much notice. Okay. Great group of nice, friendly people. That's how I want it to be, Mimo. I want it to be nice and friendly. I want everybody to get on, and I don't really care who you watch, to be honest with you. So I try to do different content anyway. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.